we're gonna move away from our usual rankings. Last week we did a trilogies tier list with Nevi and Billy. This week we're gonna be giving our top 5 comedies of all time. This week we have returning members Nebi Yukiros and Hamza Malikar, and we have 2 special guests who have never been on the podcast before, Mr. Robel and Tyrone. Tyrone and Tina.
How's it going, guys?
All right.
I
So the way that we're gonna do it this week is we're gonna go down. Each of us will give our 5th pick for our 5th best comedy of all time. 4th pick, 3rd pick, 2nd pick, and 1st pick. Robel, I don't think you have like a top 5. I know you. This is a last minute thing. I wanted you on this week. I think you have a few comedies in mind, and you'll just be chiming in as we go along. I know Hamza has his top 47.
I reduced it to top 10.
Okay. Tyrone, I'm going to just continue to call Antenna Tyrone. Do you have your top 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Nevi's been having some internet issues for like the past his entire life. So we'll see. He'll be like popping in and out, I guess. I don't think there's a lot to talk about here before we get into it. Everybody knows what a comedy is. Everybody does have different standards for what they consider to be comedic, and I'm really interested to see what you guys have picked. So, I guess let's start off with the honorable mentions this week because I'm sure we have a lot. I know Hamza had 47. I had a top 43, and I dwindled it down to the point where I was at like a top 16, and those 16 movies were all up for like the top 5, and it was really difficult to get it down to the top 5. And I'm pretty sure all 47 of these movies are interchangeable. I mean, all 16 of my top 16 are interchangeable just on any given day. I'll go ahead and give my...
All
right, so at number 12, I had When Harry Met Sally, which is my 2nd favorite romantic comedy. Well, I guess my 2nd favorite romantic movie of all time, just behind Punch Drunk Love. And I guess therefore it's my favorite romantic comedy. At number 11, I have Office Space. At number 10, I have Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. At number 9, this was a very tough pick, and I'm really surprised I had it this low. I have Rush Hour at number 9. At number 8, I have 2 movies, both from Waititi, What We Do in the Shadows and Thor Ragnarok. At number 7, I have my 2 favorite Edgar Wright movies, Shaun of the Dead and The World's End. And at number 6, I have a 3-way tie between what I think are some of the better comedies of the past few years, coming from Seth Rogen: Pineapple Express, Superbad, and This Is the End. Those are all of my honorable mentions. Hamza, I know you have a lot too. If you want to slip in some more like I did, go ahead. You want to go ahead and give your honorable mentions?
So I've got a few honorable mentions right here. I only did 10 because Yabnik kind of restricted me, but that's fine. In 10th place, I have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I don't know if y'all have seen this movie, but it was one of those movies that I watched as a kid growing up, and each time I watched it, it would be with the family, good memories, and it was really funny also. In 9th place, it's Office Space. This movie is absolutely amazing. I don't know why it's in 9th place, but saying the top 5, I understand what. Well, consider the honorable mentions like not in places because I didn't really organize it like that. So Office Space is there. Then I'll sneak in another one. The Edgar Wright movies, like you said, Shaun of the Dead and The World's End. They're all just like chaotic. Well, The World's End is chaotically funny, and it's just a very, very good time. I also have Coming to America. I'd say that's maybe Eddie Murphy's first or second best comedy movie. And Young Frankenstein. I watched this movie movie one day for Halloween, and I was expecting like a horror movie or something, you know, because I saw it just on TV, and it was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Well, I actually have two in my mind right now. Actually, three. I would go with three. My first one is actually a movie that I recently watched, but it's been out there for a long time, actually, since I was born. It's a Johnny English. I think it's a really well-known comedy. It's if some of y'all know, I think the main actor is Mr. Bean, the famous comedian, and or as they call him, Rowan Atkinson, if I'm not mistaken. And it's actually I like the combination of, you know, action and comedy at the same time. It was like you expect it to be serious because there's action, but at the same time it outbalances the whole thing with comedy, which is really, I think, really interesting because he can balance that in the whole movie, which is really, really unique, I think. And by the way, he's also a really good actor. But my second one is actually a foreign language movie. It's called Talk Talk. It's on Netflix, and it's a bunch of how'd you call it? A bunch of people with different types of sorts of OCD. I guess you could call it. I don't. You wouldn't call OCD like we would call it more of a, you know, like how would you say that for a human? Because like I know it's not like yeah, they're not like handicaps. It's just that something that they can't really control, and it's like part of it. But the thing is, I don't want to spoil the movie, but like as a whole, it's really interesting how all of this goes together. It's like a different types of people that come in one one doctor's office, and the doctor is not there on time, so they all get together and they all have OCDs, but due to different things. Like I remember one actor was one of the actors. One of her issue was that whenever she heard someone saying something, she would repeat it 2 times or 3 times. So like, for example, someone was mad in the movie, and they would say something, and she couldn't control herself. She just had to repeat it. But as a whole, it's really an interesting movie, and you know, sometimes it's good to go outside and look at different foreign language movies because they also have their own taste and form of acting.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Nevi just joined just in the nick of time. I know Nevi had a lot of. He told me that it was really hard for him to come up with enough movies to fill in the list, which I was really surprised by because I had a bit too many movies. I felt like there were more movies than spots for my top 5. However, Nebi said he only had 4 that really were deserving. And just in case, do you have any honorable mentions before we move into our actual picks?
Me?
Yes, Nebi.
I have no honorable mentions at all. I think I've maybe seen some comedy movies, but I don't think they were memorable enough for me to remember them. So that's my take. Maybe I just don't. It's not my cup of tea. These movies.
All right, Nebi. Do you have a 5th pick yet? Because I remember just a few minutes ago you were telling me you only had 4.
Wait.
I'm not lagging
Go
on you, but
Go ahead,
I need
Hamza.
to talk to Rebel.
Okay.
Look,
What's that one movie where some guy takes off his glasses?
oh,
Uh,
That is Talk Talk?
Let's talk to
no, it's not Talk Talk. It's actually called Le Petit Nicolas. It's the little Nicholas, I guess you could say in English. But it's also a good foreign language movie. And yeah, I would definitely recommend that as well. Thank you, Hamza, for reminding me of that specific movie.
Okay. Yeah, good job. So I completely forgot about that. You did a presentation on that, I remember. And
That's right.
the scene that you showed us was hilarious.
Well, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it.
All right, so we're gonna get into our top 5s. Not sure if Nebi said that he has a 5th or not, but for now, I'll start with Hamza. What do you have in 5th place?
Wait, let me back out because everything is like freezing for me. Can y'all hear me?
All right. Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
So yeah, continue with someone else. I'll be back.
Okay. Antenna. What do you have in fifth place?
Okay. If you want to start with me, in my fifth place, I have an iconic movie called The Mask. As you all know, you all watched it. You all watched it. It shows a combination of comedy and like subtle action, where it's not too violent, but it's in a cartoonish style, which I like.
But
It
that's
shows
my
a
favorite movie
different. It
also.
shows it.
Especially Jim Carrey.
It shows a different platform into the comedy movies that I really enjoy. In my fourth place, I have.
Wait, stop.
That's
We're
it.
gonna go one by one, and then we'll come back around. That was a great pick. I think that's in my top 40 something. Jim Carrey is one heck of a actor, a comedic. He has great comedic timing. He is up there as one of the best comedic actors of like ever. I would say that that's a really good pick for fifth place. Nebi, do you have a
Yes.
fifth place or not?
I do.
Oh.
Antenna just opened a whole world of movies that I did not recall as comedy movies by saying that movie, that The Mask. So, man, I would rearrange it to where the fifth movie is Cheaper by the Dozen.
Go ahead, talk about that a little bit.
Oh, have you seen it?
No, I've
Alright.
heard of it, but I've never seen it.
So it's a family that has 12 kids, right? I think they're under 12 maybe. Like, yeah. So basically they get cheaper the more kids they get, you know what I mean? And it's basically like it's a fun family movie, and um I think there's a whole series to it, but the first one is Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah.
And it has that one famous actor who's white and has white hair.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look it up real quick. He's really famous. I know you're from for a fact.
I remember watching this. You mean Steve Martin? Steve Martin. I
Yes,
remember watching Cheaper by the Dozen just on TV back when I was like just back when cable was actually a thing.
yeah.
That's a nice nostalgia pick, I'll say.
So
Huh,
that's why it's fifth for me. I respect it.
Hamza has returned.
Yes,
Now, what is your fifth place?
wait, why is the mask under me?
Oh, I took it away. That was a mistake on my part. I thought you were Antenna.
Oh, so we're all going like we all say our fifth, then we all say our fourth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me come up with a list first.
All right, I'll go ahead. For me, in fifth place, hold up, Robel. Do you have a top five that you want to go with definitively?
I don't, but I have. I'm like, it's weird, but like, the more we talk about, the more I have like some movies that come back to my memories. So like, go ahead and say your fifth.
Okay. Once again,
Why'd y'all skip me? Tell me to go.
Hamza, you have your list organized.
Oh, I already did.
Okay, go ahead, Hamza. Fifth place.
So you want my fifth place as in like the worst one out of the five?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So these are really small margins, except for maybe like the top two. So don't really take these numbers into that much consideration. But I have Borat as fifth place.
Borat. What is it? Just cultural learnings.
Oh yeah, cultural learnings
of America for benefit, glorious nation Kazakhstan.
Yeah. So this film is a mockumentary, just like another film on my top five, but not gonna go there yet. You probably know what it is, right, Yavane?
I definitely. Wait, what? The other movie or Borat?
The other movie.
Nothing is coming to mind right now, but.
All right, you'll see. So this movie is like very, very dirty, raunchy humor, and I usually don't go for that stuff. I think the dirtier it is, the less funny, because then it's less creative. Sometimes it's good, but this man, Sacha Baron Cohen, who plays Borat, absolutely blows all of my beliefs about that out of the water. It's all original. The idea is so amazing, and he's so talented for being able to do this and making it funny at the same time. And the jokes, okay, I know this is kind of bad, but I think I first watched this with my family a while ago. So, and we all thought it was a documentary. I'm not sure if we did, but at the time, I was like, "What is this?" But I enjoyed it.
You guys thought it
And
was a real
I know my friend took his mom to watch it, and she thought it was a documentary also.
Oh my god. Uh, if you guys don't know this movie, you might know The Dictator. It's the same guy that made that, and also, I also have this on my list. I won't reveal where yet, but doing some research last week, we also talked about the Madagascar trilogy. He is King Julian. He voiced King Julian. I did not know that. So I'll go ahead at number 5. I cheated even more, and I put a 2-part movie here with Harold and Kumar. The first one, Go to White Castle, and then the second one, Escape from Guantanamo Bay. I see them both as one movie since they are 2 parts, where it's a continuation of one whole story. I gotta say, the Harold and Kumar, that's one of my favorite comedic duos. That's one of my favorite duos, just acting wise, great casting. The Neil Patrick Harris's presence in both of the movies, I gotta say, those are some of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen. The first time he just appeared, I did not know he was in the movie, and when I saw him, I don't know, just his role. He plays himself, but he also plays a more effed up version of himself in the movies. The other two, it's a stoner movie. I said this a few weeks ago. For some reason, when I was around like 13, I got really into stoner movies. This is when I watched The Big Lebowski. This is when I watched the Harold and Kumar movies. All those movies from Seth Rogen I talked about earlier.
Pineapple Express.
Yeah, Pineapple Express. Superbad isn't really a stoner movie, but I guess it's maybe in that category. You have a lot more that I just half baked, which fell much lower on the list than I thought it would. And the first movie is like a super small scale movie where it's literally the 2 characters going out to get some White Castle. They just want some burgers, and they go on some super crazy adventures along the way. The second movie goes a bit bigger in scale where they're now fugitives. And one thing that I really like about both of them, it's in each movie, it kind of follows the idea of desires and consequences. And this is something that I won't lie, I've seen these movies about like 10 times each. I didn't really care about this stuff at all, but now that I'm looking at it more from a critical point of view and a film point of view in my last viewing of it, that's something that just surfaced up to me. And just off the top of my head, right before we started, I try to write down everything that happened, that just to portray the circumstantial comedy that just in these movies. In the movies, they ride a cheetah. They by chance arrive at 2 nude parties, one topless, one bottomless, which I won't even get into that. They are convicted of terrorism and they go to Guantanamo Bay. They go skydiving and parachuting. They meet and they smoke with George Bush, who was the president at the time. They are a part of a manhunt where they're the ones being hunted. They go to Amsterdam. I'm pretty sure they get in like 3 or 4 car accidents along the way. In every single one of the meetings with Neil Patrick Harris, I'm not even going to talk about those. It's just so much stuff that happens. It brings up a lot of memories throughout the movie. They're really memorable and they're really funny.
Don't they meet the KKK at one point too?
Oh yeah, they pretend to be KKK, be a part of the KKK at one point. It's
Wow.
they're just.
Yeah, but you said this was a true story?
No, these are not true stories. These are
Okay.
just I know I haven't released this yet for our Trilogies tier list that we just did last week. We in the tiers, I think all of us, Nebi, me, and Billy, we all put the Harold and Kumar trilogy at legendary level, and that just portrays how much at least I love it. And I don't think they even saw it, but I just hyped it up a bit too much for them, so they put it there too. let's start with Nebi this time. What do you have in fourth place?
What about Robel? Has he gone? He doesn't have
Sure.
Oh, Robel. Yeah, I forgot. Go back to good catch there. Robel,
Okay.
what movie you said you caught? You're coming up with movies as we go along. Go ahead.
Right, and it's another French movie, and I highly recommend it again. It's called Ducobu, which is I don't know if you guys have heard of this word before.
Tukobu.
Yes, he's like they call that type of students in France conch, which is I don't know if you guys have heard this word before. Dunce. Have you heard that word before?
Done.
Yeah, it's DUNCE.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
the
like
worst.
calling someone stupid, right?
Yeah, basically like the worst type of student that you could ever have in a classroom. You know, the one that really does nothing. And it's all about that type of student. It's like he even the way he dresses up looks like a man that just came out of jail. It's just so it's a unique comedy. The one thing that I don't really the reason why I wouldn't really rank it so high compared to all the other movies is that the movie had a continuation, and I just think that for some movies it's just better to just stop at one movie and just move on. But like when you add another part, and then the reason why I didn't really support that idea is because even the what's it called, the actors were changed, I guess because maybe the age or maybe he had grown or something like that. But like I said, it's the first one that they released, Ducobu, is actually a really good French movie.
How do you spell it? Ducobu? What?
Ducobu, DUCO BU. If I'm not mistaken.
I will definitely check this out.
I'm back, boys. I'm back.
Seems interesting. All right. So, Robel, I don't want to give yours numbers yet. Do you have a definitive 5 do you have 5 movies, or do you want me to give them like numbers, or you want just random order for you for now?
No, actually, I don't have like an actually set, but
right,
who knows? I might have some ideas.
What do you need?
Okay, now let's go back to Nebi. What do you have in 4th place?
Number 4, I have. My goodness, I'm gonna have to give it Bedtime Stories. Yeah, you've seen this movie.
Yeah.
What this movie has to offer, I think it has some very comedic, memorable moments. Like the time that he got Adam Sandler got stung by a bee, and he had to give that presentation. Roll the clip, yeah, but you already know, but so I feel like the whole story was well told. You know, I feel like a comedy movie has to have a good story, or else comedy just like it doesn't really make sense. You know,
I disagree.
It's gotta be.
I disagree.
Oh, dude, explain your disagreement, Antenna.
I feel like comedy movies, what's funny about them is that they don't have they do have an end goal, but you know, it's like out of the ordinary movie that makes it funny, you know. Regular movies, you know, there's like a plot, you know, twist, stuff like that. But like in comedy movies, you expect stuff but you don't get it, which makes it, you know, funnier. It's unexpected.
Oh,
Versus in action movies, you know, a person's gonna die, you know, they're gonna get to the end goal, you know, it's gonna be a happy ending. Horror movies, not happy ending, but in comedy movies, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Which makes it funny. That's
oh, dude, I just thought of a movie on this list, but I'd save that for later. What is actually? I don't know what the name is. Do you remember when Eddie Murphy or somebody like that was the president of the United States?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was
What is
Chris
that
Rock. Head of state.
All right, let me just write that down later.
Okay.
What's Scott?
Are we doing on top 4? Are we on top 4?
Yeah, Antenna, go ahead, number 4.
On my number 4, I put The Hangover. If you guys know what that is. I feel like The Hangover, it came in as a surprise in the beginning. I thought it was going to be like another type of movie. But it shows. It's not. I don't know how to explain this, but it's like a good movie. It's a good funny movie. It shows a lot of stuff that you didn't expect, and then shows a character gets married. He was on his bachelor's party, but he gets married there when he was drunk on LSDs, stuff like that. It was very funny to me. I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It supports your claim that a comedy movie is like not a straightforward plot.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's not straightforward, which makes it funny. Like in a movie, you don't expect anybody to talk about KKK stuff like that, but in comedy, it's it's funny. It doesn't give power to what society wants, which makes it funny.
Sure.
Indeed.
Using big
Okay.
boy words.
Let's go over to Robel.
Sure.
Number 4, or your
Guys,
next
I
movie.
know I'm sticking to like one movies from like one part of the world, but another great. I think that it's not a really a comedy based movie, but it's just it teaches you some things that are like just good to know about just the world. But it's called Raoul Taburan. Is the name of actually one of the actors on the movie. And it's basically about a man that has actually never ridden a bike, but has a bike shop. You know what I mean? And then one day out of just out of the boom, he meets one of these photographers, and he becomes his really close friend. And then close to the end of the movie, and I don't want to spoil it again, but like he asks him, well, why don't we shoot a movie or like a scene where you actually ride a bike, since you're like so good at bikes? And he's like, yeah, I don't know, but eventually they'll have to do it, right? So he gets on the bike, right, and the men start shooting, right, and they're on a cliff, and I don't know why. I guess it was to make it really attractive. And they were on a cliff, right? And the man just went onto his bike, and he was so well known in the city as a really well mechanic that it was a shame for him to admit that he just couldn't ride a bike. So anyway, he goes onto the bike, he gets off the cliff,
I'll be
he
back.
gets really really messed up, and then eventually he reveals his secret. The whole movie is behind this secret that he has to hide, which is the fact that he actually can't ride a bike, which is, I think, really interesting.
I can relate to that.
Go ahead. What did you
Never
say?
don't know how to ride a bike.
I can relate. His struggle.
So yeah, sure, it will be a great movie for you. But again, I don't think I really spoiled the movie because it's something that from the beginning of the movie. They let you know. But the funny part, I think, and that's where you get all the comedy from, is that no one knows it. Even his wife doesn't know it, and he tries to tell her every time, but she's like, "Oh, let's talk about it later." And eventually, he he has to reveal his secret in the movie.
What's the name of it again? Raoul what?
Raoul Tabu. Okay, let me spell it for you. It's spelled Raoul.
Raoul. What's the last name?
Okay, space, and then it's TABURIN.
Your movies seem very interesting. They seem like they're really small scale, which most of the time does enhance the comedic sense of many movies.
True.
All right, so let's.
What language is this movie?
French.
It's a French movie.
Oh dang! How did you find it? Used to be.
He is French.
Yeah.
For me, I'll start off at number 4. I have Fantastic Mr. Fox, which
That's a good movie.
I find that
I include that in my honorable mentions also.
Can you
Wes-
talk about?
yeah, definitely. Wes Anderson I just find him to be so effortlessly funny. Like, I don't think he's always trying too hard to be funny, and it kind of stands out, especially just looking at the Grand Budapest Hotel. That one punching scene. You remember the punching scene?
Mhm.
I swear that that's one of the scenes that I've laughed the hardest at, just because it doesn't look like he's trying hard at all to be funny. None of them are trying hard, and it's just so small scale. It doesn't seem like they're even. It doesn't seem like it's anything comedic, but it turns out to be that way nonetheless. Fantastic.
Have you seen his other movies?
I've seen a few of them. I've seen
I think.
Royal Tenenbaums, Moonrise Kingdom.
Have you
I
seen
want to
Bottle
watch
Rocket?
Rushmore. Nah, I want to watch that. I want to watch that and Rushmore. I think those are the only two that I have left.
You were saying how his like effortlessly funny. One of the main characters, he just falls in love with a worker at a motel, and the execution of it is the most hilarious thing. And
Okay.
he's supposed to be like this bank robber too.
Oh, and Bottle Rocket. Yeah, I think I know what the plot is kind of. I'm pretty sure that is Bottle Rocket, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, I really want to watch that, and it's not too long, so I can get around to it pretty quickly. Nebi, I'm pretty sure you're here now. The movie that I chose for number 4 is Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is definitely my favorite Anderson movie. Robel, I know you. I don't think you've heard of it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read off the Wikipedia just summary of it, just real quick.
Okay.
It's just like after
Yeah,
12
you
years.
need me to send the code to Antenna?
Yeah, send it to him. I don't think he ever like checks what I send him. So pretty much, it's a movie about Fox, a fox, Mr. Fox, played by George Clooney, who breaks a promise to his wife that he'll never rob again.
Okay.
And the entire movie is he buys a new house, a tree. He buys a tree, and then he goes, he commits one last, like he says, this is the final robbery. This is the robbery to end all robberies, and he goes out, and it ends up just backfiring on him. And this is a fox stealing from humans. I don't want to go too much beyond that. The rest of the movie just follows the consequences of that one action.
I think you would like this movie, Ravel.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what it makes me think of? It's called Wait.
Another French movie.
Have you heard about Oh wait. Let me see if I can find it. There's a similar animation movie about the same, I guess, the same idea that goes around it, but it's about wait. You guys
Is there a chicken in it?
No. It's like a group of animals that robs people houses of food.
I think I know what you're talking about, but if
Yeah.
it's not a chicken, I might not know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Raccoon?
But anyway, it's but sure, honestly, I think that
wait. Is it Over the Hedge?
No. It's something when it has to do with nuts. It says, well, I'll find it.
I think there's
here
a
we
movie
go.
called Nuts.
The Nut Job.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was a good comedy animation type of movie.
Yeah. I liked the way that Wes Anderson, he kind of strayed away from just stop motion 3D animated. In the claymation, the claymation was a nice way to see something new. And the comedy overall, the voice acting is amazing. I'll say that. It's just once again, it just doesn't seem like they're trying too hard. The dialogue in all of his movies, just the characters' mannerisms overall, it just makes everything so much funnier to me. Now let's go over to Hamza. What do you have at number 4?
Give me a second.
Just a recap, at number 5, Hamza had Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Benefit Glorious Nation Kazakhstan.
So in number 4, now that the more I think about it, I remember I said where the difference between the quality of the comedy in these movies are very slim.
Mhm.
It's so slim that now I think Borat should be 4th place. But in 4th place, I had Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Have y'all seen that movie?
No.
It's another like old, well, it's not old, it's like the 80s or 90s. Has Steve Martin, the guy who plays Alfred in the new Batman.
Mhm.
It's about these like 2 con men that travel across Europe and take the money from these old ladies, right? And they challenge each other because they they say that there's like not enough room for the both of us in this town. So they challenge each other to take away this one girl's money. But they don't do it like in a robbery sort of fashion. Like, for example, the guy who plays Alfred, he in the new Batman, his character, he says that he's like a prince for some nation, and that they're like fighting off famine in a war. So he asks for donations from these, like he wins the hearts of these old white ladies, and they donate money to him because they're like, oh, Prince, because he's also like going out with all of these women.
Mhm.
It's just an original, extraordinary, funny plot.
I'll definitely watch it.
Dirty. When you said that, I don't know why my mind automatically went to the usual suspects for some reason. It just, I don't know, for some reason, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I heard that title and I was like, wait, the usual suspects. I don't know what it is about the two titles, it just made me think of that.